I'm joined by Evan, who heads up a lot of different pieces for Houston in Action's work, including website, data, and visualization. I'm design broadly. If you're seeing the screen, the thumbnail for this event, that's thanks to Evan's work. And Nelson, who is also here. If you've tuned in before, you've heard from Nelson in our previous edition covering video, all things video. And yeah. And if Evan, if you could move to the next slide. So this is our third iteration. Thank you for being here. If you want to see our past editions and future editions, you can check out that website, houstoninaction.org/support hours. I'll also drop it in the comments here because I have the next point I want to make is on the next slide. Evan, if you don't mind sharing that one. Hey, Jessica. Is that for the 5th edition of our digital communications support hours, we are going to be taking requests from you all. You just need a form. Evan, I don't know if you can copy paste that form and drop it into the comments there. But we want to hear from you. What should our 5th event entail and cover? So if you can let us know and then tune in. That's in the Wednesday after next. We'd love to cover the things that are most relevant to you right now. For those of you just joining, thank you for being here. Please feel free to share your name and say a quick hello in the comments. We will be spending the first next 20 minutes or so. Evan is going to share with us a little bit about using Canva for your graphic design needs, as well as some other things. And then we'll open up the lines. So use the comments to share with us the digital communications challenges that you're facing or that you're curious about taking on. And we'll do our best to, right here in real time, try and solve your challenges. I hadn't realized this until recently, but I'm like, this is kind of like the old school radio call-in show. I don't know if anyone else woke up on Saturday mornings listening to Tom Tynan tell you how to fix your roof, or I don't know. I've lived in Houston my whole life, so that's definitely a Houston reference for those who are out there. But hey, Sybil, thanks for being here. Really appreciate everyone who's joining. I'll shut up for now and hand it over to Evan. If you're just joining, please say hello in the comments. Let us know who you're with, and also start thinking about the challenges you might want to use for your Q&A. For the Q&A portion, which will be the latter portion of the call once Evan shares a little bit about Canva lists. So Evan, I'll let you take it from here.
Cool. Thanks for the introduction, Chris. My name's Evan. I've been working with Houston in Action for quite a while now on the design and digital front. And I've been, kind of career-wise, graphic design is where I started. And Canva is a primarily graphic design platform. So looking forward to talking this through with everybody. All right, then, we'll go ahead and get started. One quick note. The intro music was by Krongben, who are a Houston band, and everyone should listen to them. Cool. All right. Looks like my screen should be up now. Cool. So the basic agenda. So for about 15, 20 minutes, we're going to run through the basics of the Canva platform. And then the last part of this, we're going to be troubleshooting, working with you, answering any questions you have. Kind of whatever comes up. So if you have any questions along the way, drop it into the chat and we'll start thinking about it. Or once we open up the questions, we can do that too. Today we're focusing on Canva. Expect, like many of you all, graphic design is my passion. We are going to talk about how to make some better looking images than this one. It's difficult because I can't hear any feedback, so
I meant to cue the laugh track, but
I assume my jokes are all bombing, so apologies. I'm not nearly as funny as I think I am. So yeah, to start off, so we gather all these resources on the Houston in Action site under fresh content and the census toolkit. So fresh content is the stuff that our team and our partner organizations create. And this is specifically for the census right now. And then we also have a toolkit where you can filter, search, kind of look at resources from a much wider range, kind of nationally. We have a ton of resources in there too. So these are two good toolkit resources for you all to take a look at. And of course, let us know if there's anything you'd like to see on there, or anything that needs some more context. But all right, now that we got that plugged in, so today the goal is to upgrade Canva skills and be able to create some of these social media graphics for sharing that look of a professional quality. All right, so first, what is Canva? I assume this joke is going to bomb too. Canva. Cool.
I'll go off mute for my chuckles if that helps.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, so Canva is an online platform. So it's different than any of the Adobe products in that it's not something you download. It's all in the browser, kind of app-based, browser-based tool. Combines editing and publishing. What's really, I think the primary uses here are it's a way to create digital assets for your organization or your campaign that adhere to a common standard and kind of a set level of professionality. So it helps to stand out amongst all the noise on social media. But something that looks like it's very coordinated, well put together, and kind of consistent, and a good representation of the causes that you work with. So some of the options, like most stuff on the internet, there's a free version, there's the billable version, and then there's a really expensive version. I think what the primary recommendation is, if you're going to be using this frequently, is to go with the pro version. If you pay ahead of time, it's $10, so it's $120 a year, or $13 monthly if you go month by month. So we'll talk about some of the differences, but yeah, if this is something that you end up wanting to use, I'd probably recommend the pro version, and I'm not getting any kickbacks on this. So you can trust my recommendation. Cool. All right, so the platform. So the templates are really like the key to this site. It offers, even in the free version, a ton of templates. But this is where, without, a real long design education, you can start with these templates that are good layouts and will be flexible for what you need. And they have, and we'll go through the platform in just a little bit. But it's for different formats and kind of different specialty uses. So no matter what, you have access to that. With the pro version, you get even more templates and access to stock photos. The key difference, I think, is really in the branding kit, which is something that helps to maintain that consistency and ends up saving a lot of time. So the free version does not have the branding kit, whereas the pro version does. So then I thought I'd walk through kind of some of the top level design priorities of how, if you don't have access to a professional designer, how you can get started with something that is going to represent your organization and your people pretty well. So color is the first thing. So you're going to want to pick out a color palette. I think looks like most people are from an organization that has some branding standards. So you'll know what your main brand color is. But then if there's not like a larger brand style guide, then filling in some of those additional colors will be a pretty important thing. And one thing I wanted to highlight first is the importance to focus on accessibility. And so this is thinking of accessibility in terms of being accessible to people with visual impairments. So that's color blindness, macular degeneration, yeah, kind of a wide range. But and so the part of accessibility that applies to colors is you want to pick colors that stand out against each other. So the contrast ratio is pretty strong. So there's a few tools that will do this. Usecontrast.com is a paid one. Colorsafe.co is a free one that it might actually be more functional to. Basically, you would enter in one of like whatever your brand color is, and then it would give you a list of colors that stand out against that. So that way you guarantee that the graphics you're creating are gonna be highly visually accessible. And I think for most of the people in our network, accessibility is something that is a priority that's pretty shared. And so the key part of visual contrast for accessibility is that, so the logo doesn't really come into this in terms of the set WCAF standards, which is the governing body of web accessibility. But the actual content in your image, that's what really needs to be high contrast. So colorsafe.co. Oh, thank you to whoever dropped that in. So yeah, that's something I would really recommend to test out ahead of time to make sure. So this was a screenshot from Houston Action's Canva brand account. And I think because whoever the graphic designer that did it is a really talented, really, really great designer, I thought we would kind of follow that. So we have the main brand color. So this is the Houston Action, taken from the Statue of Liberty, like the Houston Action color. We're taking it now. Then the accent color, which is kind of a darker one, similar, but just, to kind of accentuate the brand color. So that's this deeper green one. Then a standout color, that's where the red-orange comes into play, and the blue is what we've kind of identified as the color that gets you to take action. So if you look on the website, like all the buttons are in blue. And so it's kind of a wide range of colors. And then, so usually I recommend just 4 colors. This one is what we've been using specifically for census-related activities. So that's why there's 5 there. But I think a strong color palette, 4 colors plus white and black should be really good. I dropped in another kind of color inspiration site, thedayscolor.com. It's a good way if you are looking for some inspiration of what to fill out your color palette with. There's a lot of really cool combinations on there. And it's usually based on, some cool films or music. So I like that a lot. I suspect also just scrolling through the endless feed on Instagram should be some good inspiration too. Cool, so we got colors down a little bit. Then, I always joke graphic design is just colors and fonts. And that's why most other designers don't like me. It's more than that. It's a joke, but yeah, colors and fonts are like kind of the key cornerstones here. So fonts is the next part. Google Fonts is, it's not, there's no design snobbery on there, but it's good. Fonts are all good. There's a lot of different options. It's all built into Canva, which I like a lot. So you don't need to upload files. It just kind of all works. Work Sans is what we use. that's what I use for pretty much everything. But there's a lot on there, and you can do trial and error, see what works for you. One that I wanted to highlight that actually just a few days ago got added on to Google Fonts is a font called Enter. And I put in here one tip to test for all the character sets that you'll need. And it's something that we've encountered a lot with use in action work is the need to translate stuff to a number of different languages. And so it's something that we didn't initially plan for, but whereas like Workstands has a lot of different character sets, but it doesn't cover Vietnamese for one. It doesn't cover any of the right to left ones. It's kind of spotty on Mandarin, and also on Russian. Yeah, it's kind of spotty on a bunch, and I've liked Enter a lot because it has a much fuller character set. I'm sure there's some better ones. So far, I haven't found anything that has character sets for left to right, just kind of Western style, and also right to left, which is Arabic, Urdu, but kind of, yeah, that area. So I don't have a perfect one for all different languages, but Enter is the best one that I've used for consistency amongst all of the left to right. Yeah, all of the left to right languages. But that's to say, I think everybody here is going to know their audience the best and which languages they need. So thinking ahead of time as you're developing your brand guide for what fonts are going to have the full character sets. And that's something you can trial and error directly, either in Google Fonts or in Canva. Something I would really recommend because it will save you time later. Yeah, then in some font selection, just want to find something that complements the rest of the visual content. So I think, and that's a completely subjective thing. There's not too much that I can guide on that, but I suspect a lot of people have opinions on fonts, and you might just kind of have a gut feel for what's the right one and what's the right one for the people that you serve to. Is a serif the right choice? Is sans serif? That's like the good starting point, and then you can kind of go down the Plinko board of fonts. One tool that Tia from our team had pointed out is this font pairing tool from Canva, which is great because you can use that and put people like me out of a job. And then, yeah, I'll just play music. Just kidding. I can do more than font pairing, but this is a really good way if you don't have access to kind of a design team to find fonts that will match up really well and will help make your graphics, designs, presentations, everything look really uniform and well put together. I'm gonna try opening that up and see what happens. Okay, yeah. So you get all of these Google font options. Yeah, let's say, yeah. Start out with this one. Then it gives you kind of the complement option and some idea of what that looks like. So that's really good once you pick your first one. This can just help save time and know that you're going to get a good pairing option. All right, we're back. Cool. Just keeping up with who's joining. Hi, Deborah. Yeah. So then once you got the font and colors, then the next step is to fill in the images. So Canva has a pretty good built-in photo library. You can always upload your own images. And yeah, and that's one thing to note. So you can always upload your own logo. You can upload your own images. And yeah, any visual elements that need to be in there that aren't stock, you can always add in. Yeah, so then using the platform, So there's a few notes on here. So kind of to bring things into your brand, into your overall look. So you can use filters to change the tone of the image. That's a really good way if you want to put text over it, that you can still see the image, but then also, be able to read what's on top. Again, that contrast and accessibility is really important to prioritize. And then what I end up doing a lot of times is just setting a color overlay, where you put a color on top at about 75% opacity. So you can still see the underlying image, but then you're able to make out the text on top. And then, and one cool feature on the Pro version is you can resize, because Twitter has different dimensions than Facebook and Instagram, and maybe you have one you want to put in your newsletter too. So that's kind of one of the smaller, more frustrating parts of this is you're working with a bunch of different dimensions and you have to resize for each one. The Pro version does that resizing automatically, which is actually really cool and saves a lot of time. The free version, you have to do it all manually. And then one really cool thing that's going to be one of the last points on this before we jump into the Q&A and kind of overall experimenting with it is collaborations with the team are pretty streamlined and pretty easy to do. So like we said, the Use in Action team uses Canva among some other tools, but we have our brand guide, and we have some templates for images that so kind of we started by creating the brand kit, and I can show you what that looks like. And then there's a few different templates that I've created and then pass off, and then Tia will work with and create that. And so it's a good way, especially in this kind of remote style of working, to have all the basics set for everybody and to be able to work off, even if you're creating custom templates, to be able to work off of really the same stuff in the same level. Posting the visual social media. I feel like if there's one thing in 2020 we know how to do, it's post. So we'll skip over that. So we're all experts at posting. And then resources. So we will copy all these links in. There's a few Canva tutorials. They have what they call design school. It's much cheaper than actual design school. Probably about as good. And then some tutorials that Tia had highlighted. There's some tips and tricks for branding, how to create unique images, kind of a step-by-step process of creating some of this visual content, and then just the link to Canva there. So looking at the time, we are almost at 1:30. So so maybe let's jump into Q&A, and then we can open up Canva and troubleshoot and kind of show what it's like to use that. But I would love to start with any thoughts or questions you all have.
So if nobody has a question, and if it's okay, I'd like to ask you something, Evan,
Sure.
that I get often.
Yeah.
A lot of times people have materials that they want to match colors to. So what would be the best way to do that?
You mean to take the color from that source image?
Correct.
That's a good question. I always use Photoshop for that. Though, actually, let's see if Canva does any of that.
Yeah, because I want to say the Pro version can let you pick, it'll make a color palette out of an image that you upload.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not too sure if the free version will do that as well.
Yeah. Oh, this was a test template that I was putting together. Okay, yeah. So just upload the counties.
Cool. So Jessica is commenting on here. And she put a link that says, yeah, let me show it. The color palette is free from Canva. I guess you go to canva.com/colors color palette generator. And we can upload that Harris County, Texas image, and it'll generate the color palettes for you, I think.
Oh, cool. What was that?
So canva.com/colors/color palette generator with hyphens
cool.
in between.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you, Jess. Yeah, so that's an interesting solution. I guess you can upload that image, and then it'll spit out the colors that you would like to, that could go with it, I guess, right, Evan?
Yeah. So like, let's try opening up this one from the Yes campaign.
Great.
Oh yeah, wow. Yeah, so this identified the main one and then kind of a fuller, fuller color palette.
Yeah, so that's a cool way to, if you're having issues with colors, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely. That's a really cool find. Thank you. I had not seen that before. Thanks for adding that in.
Cool. Yeah, just be finding things.
Yeah. And
if
then
anybody else has questions, go ahead, Evan.
And then I guess when you click on that, it copies the hex code, which is the # and then 6. Or, I'm sorry, the hashtag. And then you can
there it is.
copy that in there. Cool, really cool.
So that's an interesting tool. If anybody else has questions, go ahead and drop them into the comments and we can answer them or maybe invite you in and you can give us a deeper dive into your question.
Yeah.
So Evan, I think another question is people ask, what's the difference between Canva and something like Illustrator? What can it do and what can it not do, I guess?
Yeah, so one of the big differences, so I think of Illustrator as something where, that's where you would be like creating your logo and creating kind of custom illustration stuff. So you have like full control over what shapes you're creating. It saves it in a different format too, though that gets a little in the weeds.
So Canva definitely simpler, but not a replacement for something like Illustrator.
Yeah, I think of Canva as a kind of in the world of Photoshop, where what you're exporting is going to be JPEGs or GIFs or image files, whereas Illustrator is going to output vector files. And you don't get a ton of control over what shapes. It's basically rectangles and circles, which I guess design is mostly rectangles and circles anyway.
That's all it is.
But yeah, you couldn't create like, all right, so we have the Harris County logo up here. Like you couldn't create kind of this curved shape in Canva.
Got it. We have a question here from Jessica. It says, can you show the Resize tool that lets you spit out visuals for all different social platforms? It's one of the best tools in her opinion.
Yeah, so unfortunately I can't because I don't have a pro account.
That's all right.
Yeah.
So this would be the manual way, I guess, if you want to. I think you had also talked about doing it the manual way.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh wait, do I? Oh, I guess I might be paying for.
All right.
Yeah, I guess I do have a pro account, and I need to find out where that's getting billed to.
I love it when that happens.
So yeah, so then let's so it started out as a square Instagram post, 1080 by 1080, and then I hit the resize button here. Let's do presentation also. So then copy and resize.
Cool.
Okay, so then it opened up 3 new windows. So this is going to be the presentation one. So now this takes the same content, but it's in the new dimensions. So then, yeah. So the original one was split down the middle. So I feel like this is kind of the best reinterpretation of it. For that, and then then I'd want to have it be pretty similar here. So move that over to the middle, extend those colors. You want to move that a little more there. And yeah, so it'll take the content, put it over, and then yeah, when it shifts to different perspectives, you kind of get to make an individual call of how best to fill in the extra space. You know, maybe what I want to do is that instead. Though, you know, then I feel like that's a lot of extra space there. So
Sure.
So yeah, so again, this feels like the right interpretation of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for calling that out, Jessica. That is a super cool tool. And so that way, you know, everything is consistent. The copied content is all the same. And so yeah, basically a 2-click solution there.
Yeah, and it's really important to have the right dimensions because the statistics behind content that has specific dimensions on certain platforms, I mean, it's a big difference on how many eyeballs get on it. So if you do have the option of uploading something in a format that that platform likes more, so if it's a square, squares are great right now. There's a ton. The images just look larger in a timeline when it is a square versus something horizontal. So having this option is really, really good to making your stuff as optimized as possible visually, at least, right?
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, of course, super important to make sure that no content is getting cut off too.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know, if you post like this one to Twitter, the algorithms will focus in on the face, and then you might end up seeing kind of like that.
I was just about to bring up Twitter because I think that's the one platform that I have the most issues with when I upload in batch. And let's say I upload something to Facebook and also get it uploaded to Twitter, I'll get it cut. It'll get cut off. So weird, man. And that's where this tool comes in handy, just to resize it real quick and upload it. Yeah. All right, let us know if you guys have any questions or anything that you've been wondering about with Canva, or if you have something that is just a really cool tool that you like, some neat feature that you use a lot that you see works for you. Go ahead and share it in the comments right now so that we can talk about it as well. It's always important to be able to share our knowledge with everybody else that we're working with so that we can all learn together. Let's see, Tia, I think she uses Canva often as well. Let's see if we can get her to drop in some tips or some of the favorite features that she has into the comments. Jessica's also saying that there are some great Zoom virtual backgrounds since everybody's having to do virtual meetings lately. And if you have the option of getting a virtual background put in on your Zoom account, which most of them can, she's bringing up that Canva now has Zoom backgrounds that are also videos and images. Those are really interesting templates that are popping up. So Canva's constantly uploading new templates. They have a COVID-19 series of templates that I got to see as well that you can take and make your own. Evan just dropped in the link for the Canva virtual Zoom backgrounds. So that's what we're looking at right now. There's some video stuff, some really techie things. So if you want to step up your virtual backgrounds, and I think Sybil, we were talking about this earlier today on a call on how to get our virtual backgrounds going. You may need a green screen too, so that's a whole nother conversation though. Yeah, Canva's constantly uploading these things. It's really cool.
But yeah, I think you do need a green screen. I tried to help my wife do one. She wanted to have the Bon Appetit test kitchen behind her, and kind of spent one night trying to make that work and realized we didn't have the right equipment.
I hear you. Yeah, I think it depends on. I'm not sure. Maybe the type of laptop you have, or something. Because on mine you can. On Jessica's you can't. She needs a green screen. I think we have a friend who can't do virtual backgrounds at all. So it may depend on your operating system or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But video is a new thing that Canva's been doing. So you're able to, and I want to see on the pro version for sure. On the free version, I'm not 100% sure, but you can download video. So short little animated versions of things, which if you design something, let's say you design a flyer, you can't have animated elements within that. So that's really cool because it gives you another dimension to play with that Canva used to not be able to do. So I would recommend testing that out. Yeah, there's the video tab. It was out in beta, and now I want to say you can totally mess with video in there as well. So subtle video elements are awesome whenever you have them in your designs. And you can always publish versions that are not video. So this is an example of one. That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for everybody that's socially distanced and we can't get out and film something, I mean, this is another great solution to make your designs pop a little bit, adding some moving elements like this. Really good short animations, but they work.
Yeah. Yeah, and we always find that kind of motion will get better engagement on social media than a static image too.
Absolutely. Let us know if any of you are already using video from Canva and if you've run into any snags or if there's anything that you really like about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and something that's really cool. So you can export these as GIFs or MP4s. So if you wanted to put like this one in a newsletter, you could output as a. You just hit the download button, then file type, and GIF, and then you'd have a looping GIF of it. Then another option is if you wanted to like put music to it, you could output as an MP4 or like a voiceover, and then you'd have the visuals, and then you could bring it into a video editing software like iMovie, and then put your own sound on top of it too.
That's excellent. So Tia brings up a good point here. Canva is very helpful also for creating merch for campaigns like t-shirts. So I have a question about that, Evan. When you are creating some t-shirts, let's say you want to do something for the census, what would be the best type of download? Whenever you go to the downloads, what would be best? PDF, PNG, and what would the difference be between those?
So I think first it's always good to talk to the printer that you're going to use and see what's ideal for them. Because yeah, I've had a few kind of across the board. I feel like a PDF is always the best because it's it's editable, it's lossless, and is a pretty, it's a pretty widely accepted format. Though then there's some really old school printers that just want a JPEG. So yeah, and I think that this does a good job of outputting is whatever you need it to be. But yeah, that's kind of like the short answer would be PDF, and then longer answer I would say is talk to your printer ahead of time of what specs they need. And I've always found in the past, and I would say especially now, I think they will be more than happy to work with you on making sure that you can get the right output for them.
Good to know. Very, very cool. Yeah, Jessica is saying you can also add animations and export your visual as a video. Yeah, so we just talked about that.
Yeah. So yeah, I was going through on the left side all the different types of designs you can create in here.
That's great.
And
yeah, the ID badges, newsletters, presentations. I mean, there's all sorts of templates. And T is saying that it will also send you directly to a print shop. So you can do everything within Canva, including getting connected with a print shop to place your order.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen Canva really step it up. I mean, in the past, I think when we first started using it, it was only doing graphics. That was it. And some fonts. And then they slowly started seeing video get incorporated. And now I think there was like a music tab that you had passed. I mean, there's like all sorts of templates that are constantly adding new things. So it's a really powerful tool, very user friendly. And I do like the team options as well. That's really great. So Evan will make something with brand colors and everything. And if we're on his team, we could just log in and create something for ourselves using his templates or Tia's templates. So super cool tool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Evan, I stepped away for a second, but I don't know if you've shared how you've, I know in the past you've done, created, I guess, like ways for people to access the design on Canva that everyone can use as like a standard or a template. I don't know if you talked about that or not.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit, but that would be good to walk through how to share it too.
Cool.
Yeah. So, oh yeah. So we could do this as an example. So back in the ancient history when people left their houses, Youth in Action was involved in putting together a canvasser effort for the census. And we wanted to make sure that every canvasser had credentials just so, they would be official, and showing up at somebody's door, it would be something that looked normal. So put together a template. And so it started just as one page. Actually, oh no, the original one is gone. But yeah, so it was just, so I got the dimensions, and this was sized for one of those Avery credential inserts. So put the dimension in, and then add the design, put a placeholder in for the image here, the Houston Action logo, Harris County logo, the yes to the Census 2020 logo in the background here, which that I set at a low transparency, which you can do here. Oh, and then had a few different buttons here for the languages that they spoke. So yeah, it's people who spoke multiple languages. You'd be able to see on their credentials. And yeah, so I did that, and then I just hit the share button to share with, and I ended up sharing directly to Lucius, who is the campus manager for Houston in Action. And so once they had the template, then they just copied the page. So every new hire or new canvasser just hit copy. And then a new version of that template would spring up. And then if you want to output it to print, then you hit that download button. PNG is the suggested one to print. If you had any, if you needed it to be a PDF or kind of anything you need here, you just select that. Here's the size, and then you can select which pages. So if, let's say this person lost their badge and we just needed that one, then you just select theirs, done, and then hit download. Here's this. And then, then here it is.
Cool.
You have to press publish to once you have made the draft to have it save. And then so then Lucius ended up sharing this with a few other people. And so what's cool is you can share this with people who are not even on your direct team. So if I want to share this with Bill Gates and Michael Jordan, then you just hit send invites, and now we got two new people on the team now. They can make their edits however they want to. Also, and then last thing, if you don't have somebody's email address and you just want to like Slack it to them or text it to them, you can also just copy a direct link to edit. And then Slack it away, and then they'll be able to open it up and make their own edits too. Or they'll be able to make their new versions off of the existing template.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris, are there any other use cases you think would be good to walk through?
I mean, I think the one that always comes up is like is probably like a Facebook event or like a Facebook graphic that folks need on the fly. I know y'all were going through some of the templates. I don't know if you went through the Facebook event template or the Facebook post template. And then I don't know if you want to share any of your experience with like the amount of text on any of those graphics and how Facebook treats them, having more or less text.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. So then let's so let's do like a Facebook cover image for the event. Actually, this doesn't look like the right.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't think Canva has a template specifically for Facebook event posts. I think just for posts and for covers.
Yeah. So then what I end up, and I probably do this like 3 or 4 times a week, is Google like whatever I need dimensions, because it feels like it's always changing. So here, 1200 by 628 is the new event cover size. So then, yeah, let's just go back to this resize. Oh, I forgot it already. 1200. All right. All right, so this is the right size then. So yeah, as Chris had mentioned, this is probably the most important one. So Facebook will not approve an image as an ad if it has more than, I want to say 35% of the image is text. And of course, anybody who is managing a Facebook account, you know that if you don't have something as an ad, no one's going to see it. So there is a tool out here. Oh, yeah. So the text overlay tool. So let's
If you're just joining, definitely add your name in the comments and let us know you're here. And if you have questions or challenges, we're taking those right now, so please do share those in the comments. We can actually pull you into the live stream here, or we can just take your questions and challenges in the comments. Up to you. If you're just joining, let us know who's here in the comments.
I think I need to sign into Facebook to make that work. So yeah, sorry, bear with me as I'm showing you, as I'm going through this tool.
Yeah, no doubt. For those who are just joining, feel free to say hello in the comments. We had some lurkers jump in and jump out, but we are coming close to the hour too. So I did put the link to what you've got here, Evan, into the comments in case people want to try that out.
Cool. I'm gonna switch over to this one. Okay, so this should update for the new one. So I just took an old Facebook image, like an old Facebook event image, and ran it through the upload. So this one you can see has a lot of text. Okay, cool, it's showing up now. Yeah, so this has a lot of text, and then this says basically image text is high, the ad might not run. So yeah, so you want to aim for like a third or less of the image having text. It's always hard to tell, and Facebook is kind of not consistent, I guess is a nice way to put it. But basically, the less text you have on it, the better chance that your ad will run. So yeah, that's always something really good to keep in mind. Would be awesome if Canva integrated that into their system. Maybe it's on their list. But yeah, like I think most of these templates should pass. Yeah, let's try that real quick. Of course, if anyone has a question, please interrupt me.
Yeah, no, I do feel that this tool is vital when you're mocking up ads. There's nothing worse than you set up all your ad spend, everything's ready to go. And once you start uploading your assets, then you get that notification from Facebook saying that there's too much text. So this is always great to do before you get too far along into any advertising on Facebook.
Yeah.
Or just any post in general, right?
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Nelson, but I think that Facebook used to block your ad entirely, and now they've kind of just given you like a, hey, you're probably not going to perform that great kind of message, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they'll still take your money, but it won't appear as much and it won't perform as well, and they'll let you know. Right off the bat, it'll tell you that it's not performing well, and it'll give you the reason, which could be text or the dimensions or whatever, but text is the big one on images. And video too, I think.
Yeah. Well, good news. Our How to Cook a Healthy Lunch ad will run.
Yeah, right there it says image text okay. We'll run.
It's not great, but it's okay. Cool. Then, yeah, it looks like we are just past 2. Yeah, so I guess, should we wrap it up?
Chris?
Yeah. Thanks everybody for being here. Thank you so much, Evan, for sharing design tips and the Canva walkthrough as well, and for taking questions. Thanks to everybody on the comments with all of your support as well. Nelson, thank you so much. And yeah, want to invite everyone to visit HoustonInAction.org/support hours. So you can check out this presentation's recording once it's ready, but then also so you can see the future events that we have coming up, because we especially need your help on the 5th installment of our support hours, which is kind of the wild card. We want to hear from you on what you want to hear, so that we can tailor that discussion that day around information that's most relevant for you. We'll keep the same format, 20 minutes up front of sharing skills, and then follow that with 40 minutes of Q&A or challenges that you might be facing. So think about them over the next week. Come join the Facebook Live at 1 o'clock next Wednesday. Bring those questions. We'll hope to tackle them here in real time. And we love hearing from you, and appreciate the opportunity to say hello and see all our folks in the comments. So thank you so much. With that, we'll wrap up and say goodbye. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks.